Hello, welcome to JustFrame. As part of this video, we are going to see how to create image of a React application. So these are very simple. So basically, the steps what we are going to do are very simple. So let's get started. So before starting the image creation, so there are some prerequisites we need to follow. So the first step is you should have a Docker desktop installation in your machine and it should be running. So how we are going to verify that one? You can go over here. You can check it out. So the Docker client is running or not. So that's very easy. So you can see Docker desktop is running in my machine. Currently it's in saver mode, but when you start using it, so it's coming into the running mode. Okay, so this is the first step. So you should have a Docker configuration and it should be running the client. And in case if you don't have it, so I'll give the installation and set up a link over the video so you can take it up and install it. So this is the first step, and the second step is you should have a React application, a simple React application which is working and which is running. Okay, so this is the second step. So first step is Docker desktop installation, and the second step is you should have one of the React app in your local machine which is running. So the first step, how we are going to verify your Docker is running or not, so that you can see over here. So there is some Docker desktop is running in my machine and its version is 27.33. So if you want to see the current images, you can type. So basically I could see there is a simple test image is there in my local machine, so that should be fine. So first point is clear, and the second point, you should have one of the working React application. So let me verify. So if you see my Visual Studio Code, so I have one of the simple React application which is currently created. In case if you don't have it, how to create the React app, so I will pass the a video link over the description. You can take it up and create your own React app. But right now I have already one of the a simple React app, so that I am going to use it, and let me test that one. So I'm going to verify my React app, so whether it's working or not. So by just running npm start command, so then it will start my React application in Node. So you can see now, so my React application is working and it's displaying some simple text. So that means my app is working. So the second point is clear. So the first step is Docker desktop should be installed and it should be running, and second step is you should have a working React application. So this is the second point. So now going forward to create an image, the first and more condition is, so you should create a simple Docker file. It's very simple. I'll just pass this file also into the video description. You can take it out. So this is having a simple 7 steps, and these steps are very easy. I'll just go through the ones. So this file also you can able to find in the video description. So the first step is, so basically whenever you are trying to create any image, so based on the technology what we are trying to use it, you should have a base image. So in our case we are trying to use the Node.js, so that's the reason we are trying to use one of the base image or existing image from the Docker called 16 alphane. So this is the base image we are trying to use as part of the Node.js as a base reference. So this is from, you can use any image, it's up to the technology what you are trying to use. If you are using any Java, you can use OpenJDK or Java image. Now we are using Node.js, so that's the reason I am trying to use Node and corresponding version. So this is the first step in the Docker file, and the second step is, so when we are working in the Docker or container, we should point to a specific directory. So right now I'm trying to point a specific directory called app. It's up to you, you can give any location, but to make it generic, generally all the apps are installed into the app location, so I'm just trying to point to the app directory. So the subsequent command, you can see there are many other commands, all will be executed under this app directory. Whatever directory you are trying to give, it will be executed under this directory. So that's the reason of this work directory setup. And if you go to the third one, you can see we are trying to copy all package.start.json files into the app location. So if you see over here, we have two packages, package.json and package locked.json. So these are the two some of the basic files of React.js application. In case if you don't have knowledge on this, I'll recommend you to go through the video of React.js and you can come back over here. Okay. So that's the way you can copy the package.json into the app directory. This is part of the third step. And if you go back to the fourth step, so we are trying to execute the npm install. It will try to download all the dependencies in the app directory because all the commands will be executed under this directory. So that's the reason when you run npm install, it will try to download everything into app directory. Okay. So the next one is still we have some of the files in your local directory like src. So that will be copied from local to app directory. So that's the command copy will do from local to your app directory. So the sixth one is, so when you run your application, so inside the container it will run under 3000 port. So this you can give any port, it's up to you, but generally React application will run on 3000. That's the reason I'm trying to maintain same standards. So the next and the last one is, so when someone is trying to run your Docker image, so which command we have to execute it? So we are going to use npm start. If you see our previous image also, right? So when you're trying to run our React application, I used npm start. So similar set of commands you need to tell to your Docker compose file which commands you have to use to spin up your image. It's up to the technology what kind of image you are trying to use. If you are using any Java, you have to use Java command. If you are using React, so React Node, so we are trying to use npm start. So by using this command, you can able to execute your application or start your application, or you can able to run your application inside the container. So these are the seven simple steps which you can able to find this file also in the video description. Okay. So with this setup we can able to create the image very easily. So let's get started. So first you can open a command window into your app location wherever your application is running. So in my case, my application code, a basic source code is available inside this directory, and you can able to find the Docker file as well. So now let's come to this location. So now I am in under my React.js application source code image location. The first step to create an image, you should have a source code, and inside the source code you should have a Docker image. So if you see here, Docker image is there in the same location. So now we are ready to create a Docker image. So how to create Docker image? To create Docker image, we are going to use command called Docker build. After that, we are going to give the title. So what is the image name you are trying to give? And what is the tag you are trying to give? I want to give 1.0. In case if you are not giving anything, it will try to give as a latest. So basically we are trying to use here docker build hyphen t, meaning title, what kind of title you are trying to give for image, and colon version. In case if you are not giving anything, it will try to give the latest. So another optional parameter is -f. So this is basically in case if your Docker file is not there in current location, if it is there in some different location, so you can give the other location, but this is optional. But in our case, our Docker file is there in the same location. You can run without this file also, and space dot. If it is in same location, we no need to give, but if it is in something different location, you can specify the location. But just to make to understand this -f option also, I'm just trying to give it, and then press enter. Okay, if you see here, there is a issue here in the tag. I had given here equal, so that should be hyphen. So equal is invalid character for image name, so that's the reason it is not taking. Make sure the image name should have proper naming conversion. Okay, now press enter. So basically it will take a couple of minutes to create the image. It will try to download all the dependencies and the package creation and all. So just wait for a minute. So you can see the sequence of steps what is trying to execute. The first one is trying to download the a node image from the Docker, and then it is trying to set up the work directory, and then it is trying to copy all the package.json. After that it is trying to execute npm install. It's completed. Now it is trying to copy the current directory content into the your Docker container. So that's what the fifth step is executing. After fifth, still we have one more step called expose and cmd. So these two steps also need to be executed to make or to create complete image. And again, in the meantime, if you see here, so this step is optional in case if the Docker file is there in the same location, so you no need to mention the -f. It will try to look for the Docker file in the current directory, and it will try to create in the current context. So now we can see the fifth step is completed, and the remaining steps everything is completed. So we can see now it is suggesting you can able to view your Docker desktop image. Is there two ways you can see? One, or here you can execute Docker images command. So we can see over here. So we can see React app Docker demo. The tag is 1.0. It got created a minute ago. And similar way, if you want to see, you can come here in your Docker desktop under image. You can able to see it. It just created 30 seconds ago. Okay, so this is the way you can able to create a brand new image with a running application with the help of Docker Compose file. Okay, so now we will be seeing some other commands. Say for instance, if you want to change the tag, this React tab Docker demo to something else. You don't like 1.0, you want to give something different. So you can use some other tags called Docker tag. So what is the current name you want to modify to something different? This is the current one I want to modify to test2 colon 1.0. So basically I'm trying to create new or renaming the existing one to something different. So this is the way you can able to do it. Docker tag the current one space the new one how you want it. So now you can verify it. So you can able to see a test2 with 1.0. So this is one of the very useful tag called Docker tag React app demo to test2 1.0. So this is very useful tags. Sometimes it will be useful when you are trying to create latest by default to 1.0, 2.0, whatever. Okay, so now your Docker image is ready. Now the second point is I want to push my currently available image in my local to my Docker hub so that other people can able to access it. If you come back, right, so this is my Docker repository in the Docker hub. So I can see there is only one image is available. So now I want to push my image what I got created from locally to into my Docker hub. So how to do that one? That's very simple. So for that one you have to use a Docker push command. Before that you have to rename your Docker image to your user ID / image. So this is the four more condition before doing pushing. So if you see my Docker hub repository name is just prime, so I had to use that naming conversion here. So I had to rename or I had to create an image such a way that the name should be my user ID / image colon version. So for that one I'm going to use a docker a tag, and then I'm going to use the naming conversion. So let me take the previous tag. So here I am going to use just prime slash. I will use the same name, same version. So basically what I'm trying to do here, I am just trying to create another image with existing image with username followed by your image name anything colon version, so that this kind of image only can be pushed into the Docker Hub. It should follow the naming conversion. So now let me verify it. So we can see now just frame slash image name colon version, it's available. So it's ready to push. Okay, now to push the image into your own registry, so before that you should logged in into your Docker desktop, the credentials whichever you are trying to connect your Docker hub, so such a way that it can able to connect, it can able to push the image. So now you can use a very simple command called docker push, and which image you want to push, this is the one. How you want to push 1.0, so you can use it, can try to execute this docker push command. It will take a minute. It will try, it need to be pushed almost 1.15 GB, so it will take some time. It's up to based on your network or bandwidth connectivity, so the time will vary, but here we can see the image size is 1.15 GB, so that's the reason it will take a couple of minutes or a minute. Once the image is pushed completely, so then you can able to see the image over here, so then anybody can able to access this image. So now we can see completely the push is done, and we can come over here, refresh this URL, and we can able to see our newly pushed image. So this is the new image which got pushed in a less than a minute. So you can come over here and you can see the tags. So what tag I had given? I had given 1.0. So we can able to see the tag with name. If anybody want to pull this image, so they can use docker pull and the username image name colon version. So this is the way you can able to pull the image. And now the last one, so how we are going to verify the newly created image is working or not, so that we can verify very easily. So you can use docker run -d -p. This we have already seen in the previous video. And then what image you want to run, you just take your image and colon 1.0. So this is a standard command we have already seen as per the previous video. Docker run -d detach mode port and the image version, and then press enter. So then we can able to run it. So how to access it? So that is very easy. You can come over here. So localhost colon, have to use here 111 by, because we have exposed our Docker image port as 111. So that's the reason we can able to see the image. And similar way, if you can able to see your Dockers whichever is running containers, basically you can come under your Docker desktop, you can able to see. So your image is running and that 4 ones, and the container actual port is 3000. And a similar way, if you want to see the containers from the command window, so you can use docker ps So this is the way you can able to see the your container ID, and you can verify your container ID as well. Over here you can see E08. So this is the way you can able to run the image either from this command window or from the Docker desktop as well. Say for instance, if you want to run the same image from the Docker desktop, so you can go to your Docker desktop, and which image you want to run. I want to run this image. You can come over here, you can click on run, and here it is giving an option. So I want to run this image under 1112 instead of 1111 is already running. So you can just make sure 41 is already running. I just trying to give the different port so that I can able to verify it. So come back over here, containers, and then see your new container also created based on the existing image. So you can verify that one. Come back over here and you can access it. Localhost to, yes, you can able to access. So everything is running. So this is one image, this is one Docker, this is another Docker, and this is the local host which is running. So let me stop the local host. Don't need it, just for verification purpose. So now it will not work. Let's close it. Now currently we are running two containers. One is 41s and next one is 1112. So let me stop or delete both. Now this URLs will not work. Yes, so this is the way you can able to create the image from locally, and you can able to push the image into your Docker repository, and you can able to verify whether it's running or not, right? So I think that's all about this video. If you like the video, you can subscribe the channel for more subsequent updates, and thank you so much.